All righty, let's get into our last spot here, which is, to be frank, another wasted opportunity by the Hard Knocks show. And it's kind of like a little filler segment they had at the end where they went into scout evaluations. And, they went into bringing each of them in the room individually with Shane and saying, oh, it's important to tell them where they're at and where they can improve and what they've done and blah, 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 blah. An annual evaluation like we all get at our jobs at that point.
Yeah,
and
job review.
Yeah. I thought it was a little interesting to do it literally right after the draft when you're still busy at that point. Like, but I mean, that might be the downtime for the scouting department at that point. You've already you've done your draft now, you've done your free agency. There's not really that much to necessarily continue looking at there. So might make sense from that standpoint. But, I look at it and they go, brought them in a one by one. You heard them say some very positive comments to some of them. I didn't hear any negative stuff, really. I would have loved to see how Joe Shane gives negative feedback to scouts.
Yeah, like, hey, listen, you told me this way last year, and what the hell were you thinking?
Yeah. I think because of the missteps this franchise has had in the last decade, I think Giant fans would have appreciated seeing a little accountability within the scouting department. And I'm not saying you publicly embarrass one and put him up there talking to Joe Shane, but you could have had the camera on just Joe Shane talking to him saying that and not mention who it is, not have their voice, their face, or anything like that in there. Like I said, I would never suggest to publicly embarrass somebody like that because it's still their job, it's still a person, and you're going to kill their confidence and they'll be known forever as the horrible scout from the Giants. Like that probably would kill their career. I'm not suggesting 100%. That. But you could have had Joe Shane, like I said, at the table, talking to them, and you could have videotaped that part without showing who it was. And it would have been an interesting thing to see his reaction and to see what he thought about, honestly, what the scouting team is doing. Because if you think you watched that segment, you knew anything about what he thought, no, you know nothing. You're like Jon Snow.
The only thing, I hear what you're saying. The only thing I think of is you hear Joe Shane oh, you brought us X, Y, and Z player. And this is what they panned out. What were you thinking when you draft this person? And you start hearing his comments of what he's saying. It gets personal. Then you could probably figure out who scouted what player.
I just it
would have to be cut to a certain degree.
Yeah, you would have. Oh my God, the cutting room and editing team would have to cut and edit. It's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Jobs.
Crazy thought. Wow. Might have to spend an hour doing it, not even. We're not here. I cut and edit things too. It doesn't take me but a couple hours. I'm not getting paid by HBO to do it. Just do it. So I said, I just thought it was a wasted thing. It would have been nice to see a legit how the conversation goes, how the thought process goes, to learn a little bit behind the scenes in that regard. I guess maybe next year. Whoever does it next year. Whoever does it. So, but there is talk that it'll never happen again because if you notice that one section of the show, they had a board exposed that showed all the picks from the draft, and nobody blurted out because they thought that it was going to be, who cares? The picks were already in at that point. And it wasn't like their top board, but they did color code people. And people are now guessing what those color codes meant. So, potential for a little egg in the face there. So,
if you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.